So Monday Night Raw from August 23rd. Wow. Geez, where to start? I mean, no better place to start than the beginning. I'm not gonna lie, I liked the opening segment. Just the segment. We'll get into the opening match later. The opening segment, I actually had some hope for the show because Lashley and MVP come out, and that's always just a good way to start. Just start with your champion, especially with a mouthpiece as good as MVP. And MVP cuts a pretty good promo. It wasn't his best, but it was good. It was a good one. It definitely got the crowd a little bit hot with heat against MVP and Lashley, which is good. And so far it's this is a pretty solid opening. One small gripe I have: why is MVP still wearing a Hurt Business chain when they're not a thing anymore? And
he needs to have his ice on. You gotta have ice. He's the pimp. He's a pimp.
Still, and he's the one that broke up the Hurt Business, so it doesn't make too much sense. But then also, when they keep making a big deal about how Lashley is such a piece of crap for Hurt locking Gage, I thought to myself, he was attacked from behind. Isn't that technically, even though he's 15, isn't that technically just self-defense?
That was my point.
Why are we all getting on Lashley when Gage didn't need to? What's Gage doing charging him anyway? What do you think's going to happen? But anyway, so the good promo, and you know that this is setting up. So he keeps saying because MVP's insulting Goldberg, he's insulting the city, so somebody's coming out, which I thought would be Goldberg. I was really surprised Goldberg was not on the show at all.
Thank God.
But then it's Damian Priest, and my first reaction was, okay, this is interesting because I like Damian Priest. Then it's oh wait, no, because that means this is going to be the match, and one of them probably has to lose. And it made no sense. And they have a little back and forth where at first, why would you put Damian Priest, who's not very good on the mic, in a promo war against MVP, who's really good on the mic? For the first 30 seconds, I thought MVP was making Damian Priest look pretty stupid. Because he was Damian Priest is doing the whole pandering to the crowd. You're going to come here and you're going to call all these people cowards. And MVP's yeah, because they're cowards. And he did it 3 different times. And I'm MVP's really I have my note. Oh no, get the mic out of Damian's hands. He's looking really out of his league next to MVP. But then he ended it pretty well. The match, and then they make the match official. And I mean, we even said it to each other. There's no way this match is actually happening. It's not.
Well, speaking of that,
we're not even at that point yet because.
Oh boy.
Because the Damian Priest Bobby Lashley match actually happened, I timed it. Which by the way, did I know we talked about that I was going to do this, but I didn't watch AEW. Did either of you guys do the time the bell to bell in AEW?
Man, it was a lot longer than Raw. I can tell you that.
Anyway, so they have the match, and it lasts. I timed it 1 minute and 18 seconds before Sheamus interferes with the DQ. So at least they got it right that this match shouldn't have had any sort of decisive finish that cheapens either of these two. And now okay, who what babyface is going to come out now? Goldberg's going to probably come out and save Damian Priest, right? No, got mine and Cody's favorite guy, good old Drew McIntyre coming out to make the save.
Yes, I love Drew.
I have statements on that.
Yeah, which I can't wait for, by the way. So my note says. So it says Damian Priest gets momentum. Sheamus comes in for the DQ. Drew McIntyre makes a save. Incoming tag team to be made during the break. And then they go to break at a terrible time, by the way. I hate how they and this is a show-wide thing. I hate how they come in and out of breaks, but they go in and out of breaks. They go to break. Match is made during the break, and they have a match. And anything. I know I'm kind of going on here. But anything you guys want to chime in?
I have an official statement from my. I have officially chosen that me, Cody. I hate Drew McIntyre. I am sick of him. He needs to go somewhere else. He needs to go to SmackDown, go to NXT, go to AEW. I don't care. He needs to get off this goddamn Raw roster because he ruins the show for me. He really does.
Stop. I turned off the Raw review segment so you can see my face to show you how disappointed I am in you. You need to stop. He's a folk hero. What do you not understand?
Folk hero? What the hell?
That's why he has the sword. He's a folk hero.
Yeah, that sword needs to be shoved up.
So what do you want him to be? You want him to just be another tough guy who can't speak on the mic?
I want him. Yeah, he's terrible on the mic.
That's what I'm not disputing that. That's what I'm saying. Is that what you want him to be?
Well, like he how many times have he fought Bobby Lashley for the title, lost, and now we're doing this again? He's going to get a rematch.
No,
he can't possibly. I'll be so disappointed if they do that because here's a note that I made at the very beginning of the match. So like it's happening, but why is this match happening? Because who is his opponent? Who's his opponent coming out of the match? It can't be Lashley because the stipulation in Drew's last title match was if Drew loses, he cannot challenge Lashley for the title ever again. So that cannot happen. And I think Sheamus, since he attacked Damian Priest, that's that feud. Damian Priest is going to be with Sheamus. So I don't know what business Drew really has in here other than it was probably we wrote this entire episode of Raw and Drew McIntyre's nowhere to be found. Where can we shoehorn him in?
We do have a glimmer of hope though. Because of how the Dom, you can go to the match part.
Maybe just the match.
Because like the match was boring, let's be honest. But Bobby Lashley,
let's move on.
Bobby Lashley walks out on Sheamus,
which made no sense.
It sets up. It does make no sense, but it sets up a little rift between Sheamus and Bobby Lashley after they decide to tag together, save each other's ass. So I have a glimmer of hope. It could be Sheamus next pay-per-view, even though heel on heel I don't usually like that. Anything for Drew McIntyre not to be involved in this, I would appreciate it.
So for me, the match, as far as the actual match goes, the match was pretty boring because you knew exactly it's a Raw opening match. You know exactly what's going to happen. But my big gripes, Damian Priest looked so bad in this match. Not from like a technical wrestling standpoint, but from every time he was in there, he just got his ass kicked. he was getting ragdolled and just he was down for like most of it. And then so there was a point where they go to break. So you guys know how they a lot of the times they'll go to break when the babyface gets hit and it'll be like, oh, what's the babyface gonna do now? We'll be right back kind of thing. They did the opposite. They did the complete opposite. Lashley got I forget what the move was, but Lashley got thrown onto the announce table or something, and they did the exact opposite. They're like, can the WWE champion recover? They pitched to the break as if Bobby Lashley was a babyface, and it made no sense at all. I was like, no.
Yeah, no, I remember that because it was a terrible botch or something because Drew McIntyre flipped him over and he landed right on his neck.
Yeah, but yeah, they pitched to the break as if Bobby Lashley was the babyface, which that's just getting into television, and that's just. It's no secret that WWE commentators are just the absolute worst ever.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that, the commentating team.
Except Pat McAfee, but also
and Corey Graves. I'm gonna talk about how much I love Corey Graves at some point. I love Corey Graves, but anyway, back to the match. The only way this would have made sense is if Damian Priest pinned Sheamus because Drew McIntyre shouldn't get the pin since he has no clear direction with any of these other three guys. But then Damian Priest gets his ass kicked, and Bobby Lashley walks out for literally no reason. I think he got hit on the outside by somebody, and he walked out on Sheamus for no reason. And then the worst part, Bobby Lashley walks out, and Damian Priest is the legal man. So it's like, okay, at least Damian Priest is going to get the pin now. He tags in Drew McIntyre for no reason, so Drew McIntyre can get the pin.
He's a nice guy. He's like, oh,
so It made absolutely no sense for the booking of Damian Priest in this match. None. He looked terrible the whole time. All this, the only good thing about it, the only positive I can take away from it is at SummerSlam I was saying you can't put drawn out heat on Damian Priest because he doesn't get the reaction from the crowd. He got the reactions from the crowd today, so at least it looked fine that he was getting heat on him because the crowd was behind him. But it never really built to any big comeback for him. He got a couple strikes, a couple good moves in, but then he's tagged Drew in for a hot tag. It was
also before we move on I want to make a note that Pat McAfee will not be on SmackDown this week. He tested positive for COVID.
Oh no!
He will be out for 2 weeks. And I just want to say, Bayley was trending on Twitter. If they are smart, if WWE is smart, they will put Bayley on the commentary booth.
You bet. Yes. Yes, do it now! Now! Please!
I wanted to say that just because I have nothing else to say about this match.
Because Bayley's amazing. Okay.
So Dom, do you have before we move on, Dom, do you have any thoughts on the opening? This was probably the first 20 minutes of the show.
I was thinking to myself, I have to watch another 2.5 hours of this. segment happened.
Yeah. So let's talk really quick about this piece of television gold we got here. Luckily, it was only like 30 seconds. Doudrop backstage with is it still Charlie Caruso that's doing the backstage interviews?
Somebody?
No, that's Caleb. It's Caleb Braxton.
Okay, Caleb Braxton backstage with Doudrop. Trying to basically asking what everyone's dying to know after SummerSlam. What's up with you and Eva Marie? Like I don't know about you guys. I've been waiting anxiously since Saturday to find out what's going on with those two. And Doudrop says exactly what you think. I don't remember exactly because I wasn't paying too much attention. She says oh yeah, I don't probably something I don't like her because she's mean to me. And then Eva Marie comes in. They brawl for a couple seconds, and which was actually to Eva Marie's credit. This wasn't terrible brawling because all she's doing is pounding her head against that little thing that she's. Which here's something. Do you guys remember how the brawl happened? How Eva Marie pushed that huge cart? She pushed that right in front. How did Doudrop not see that coming?
Also, talking about Doudrop, I just want to point out with the promo, she said that she likes the name Doudrop because she's gonna Doudrop on Eva Marie.
I forgot about that.
I also am surprised just because I didn't actually think she was turning face. I just thought it was like
yeah. It seemed very sudden to actually fully do the turn.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they brawl for a couple seconds, and then the payoff for this whole thing. I know that if WWE knows their fans, they know that the fans just love when the wrestlers curse. So Eva Marie beats her up, and Doudrop looks up and she goes bitch, and I wrote in my notes, oh my God, Doudrop said bitch.
Exactly. You know why that surprised me? Because I remember vividly it's saying PG TV, and I'm like, can they say bitch on PG TV?
Sure, but here's the thing: they think that that's how they really edge up their promos is they throw in bitch.
No, I mean, it's not the edging part. I'm just
if you notice, I want you guys to start. If you're not already paying attention for this little thing, start every time they curse, whether they say bitch or jackass or bullshit. Every single time they hold it, they say it and then they pause because they're waiting for because they want to go. Oh,
it's the pause.
Also, I'm glad we don't have to wait too long because this match was happening next week on Raw.
Yeah,
so I'm actually happy. I'm being serious when I said that. I'm happy that we're not getting this on Extreme Rules.
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay. Totally. Next is something I've been wanting to talk about. First things first. What is this?
Oh my God!
What is this?
That's something they mess up their NXT call-ups in a lot of ways, but something recently they've been doing that I get a lot of pleasure out of. How they're going to change up their ring gear. Because remember Keith Lee when he first got called up and he was wearing a legit, just a skirt and a cutoff hoodie. What the fuck are they doing?
I like the cutoff hoodie.
And then they put Karrion Kross in that weird mask, and he hasn't always worn the cross leather, right?
I think that was worse. I think that was worse.
That was the worst. The worst part of it was the cross leather.
I'm telling. I said I think I have to look back in the chat. I call it a BDSM mask because that's what it reminds me of. To be a gladiator character.
I'm very upset with how Ricochet's treated. He's just so good in the ring. It's just so upsetting. I have nothing else because Karrion Kross is fucking.
You know what's unfortunate? It's confirmed that Ricochet is a mid-card jobber.
He's been a mid-card jobber.
Well, I just wanted to.
I had hope after Money in the Bank when he did crazy spots that maybe, just maybe, Vince would give him a shot, but nope.
But I actually think WWE's kind of smart for not really giving him a huge push because here's the thing: he worked in NXT because NXT fans are really big high spot fans, and Ricochet might be the best high spot guy in the world. He does his high spots are insane. But once you get up to the main roster, and this is why a lot of the NXT guys fail and why they're never given a chance, is once you get to the main roster, if you're going to be something, you have to be able to talk. Ricochet's got no charisma on the mic. His promos are awful, awful, awful. He has no character. So so just based on that, his ceiling in WWE really is mid-card jobber that every 6 months will get in a feud and might win the United States title once or twice in his career.
Has he?
Yeah, he was the United States champion. He was already U.S. champion. But
I blinked and missed it.
Ceiling. Until he commits to getting good on the mic, he's reached his ceiling.
Let's say this: he's the Ben Simmons
No, bad comparison. You need to stop. Stop it right now.
Yeah, but as far as the match is concerned, I don't have the exact time for this match bell to bell, but it was less than 3 minutes. Now I was worried at first, not because I wanted Ricochet to get squashed, but like since it's carrying cross, he needed to get squashed, and it looked like, and he got a flurry at the beginning that made me think, okay, they're going to really make this, like an 8 or 9 minute back and forth where carrying cross is going to have to like throw the kitchen sink at it, but no, it's like a 3 minute match. Ricochet got a little flurry, which was fine, but then carrying cross quickly cuts him off, hits a couple moves, and chokes him out. And I thought for if that's what you like, you got to push carrying cross, not necessarily push him, but when he debuts, you've got to give him a chance to get over because of where he's coming from and what he was in NXT. And I think it's matches like that where he comes out looking really strong. I think I think it was a really good piece of business.
I do have another thing to say. Karrion Kross is the worst submission finisher in wrestling I've ever seen. He literally barely puts it. He goes, and then they tap out. I'm like, yeah, that's all I have.
All right, next we have. I know a good friend of ours really was looking forward for this.
Yeah.
No name drop.
I'm gonna start off by saying I've never been a fan of WWE talk shows. So my note for this is Logan Paul on Moist TV. Thankfully, I don't need to watch this because I know Cody will.
Moist TV is better than Miss TV. Moist TV is better than Miss TV.
All right, but we don't really have to talk about this. Logan Paul got booed out of the building. It was funny to see how he reacted to it because I don't think he was expecting it. I know Vince wasn't expecting it. What? Why are they booing?
That's a good impression.
And then we have the big there was a match, right?
Yeah,
A match did come from this. Do you want to say something about Moist TV?
I wanted to say something about Moist TV. I really like the bickering between Miz and Morrison right before Mr. Xavier Woods came out. He didn't have the squirt gun, the big squirt gun. The Moist
Dripstick
2000. He didn't have the Dripstick 2000, but he did come out like usual. About Logan Paul, I just wanted to say, apparently he's rumored to go into wrestling. I hope not, because he did not know how to react. He didn't play to the crowd at all.
I don't think that's a rumor. I think that just you don't want him to go into wrestling.
I don't, because he's gonna be bad. He showed me like he has no talk. He has no connection with the crowd. He should have ends up with the crowd. If you're getting booed, that's what you do. If he really wants to get into professional wrestling, he's not so good. But anyways.
So before we get to the match, I did this. I wish I wrote down the actual quote because all I have here. This is the first. I said I was going to talk about how I love Corey Graves. So under the note I made on Moist TV, without putting the quote, I'm really mad at myself. This is the first time on my notes where I said, am I the only one who absolutely loves Corey Graves? Just wanted to throw that in there that I love Corey Graves. I just don't remember what he said. And then when Xavier Woods' music hits, then the very next note, this is verbatim on my note sheet. Oh, fuck no, not Xavier Woods. Fuck my life. I hate this. No. Fuck this. Oh, God. Oh, shit. This sucks.
New Day walks, by the way. And Xavier and Miz had a match. This match was meh.
This match was longer than it should have been, honestly.
Oh yeah. You said it was like what was the count on
that? This match ended up being like not including the break, obviously, but bell to bell, this might have been the longest match of the night. Honestly, this was like I want to say this match got like 12 minutes.
Yeah, I do love watching the worst wrestler of the New Day wrestle.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Xavier Woods because
we can actually do a little bit of math here because after my notes on this match, this is when I said, okay, it's halfway through the show. We have 22 and a half minutes of bell-to-bell action so far. So that does leave because we had about a minute and a half of Lashley and Damian Priest, and then probably like 10 minutes of that tag match, 3 minutes of Karrion Kross. So yeah, this got like 9-10 minutes, which was just ridiculous. That for and it's not even a feud. It's not even really a feud. Xavier Woods.
Not anymore.
We'll talk. Yeah. It's holy horses.
Yeah. So like for a match that it was clearly from the beginning, even if you didn't know about what was going to happen post match, you knew that this match was really going to be just about highlighting the growing dissension between Johnny Morrison. Why did I call him Johnny Morrison? That was
Johnny Morrison.
I was like, why is he calling him
Mr.
John?
Drip?
I got stuck between John Morrison and Johnny Drip Drip. But yeah, so it was all about the growing tension between those two. So it only really needed to be like 5 minutes for them to do a little back and forth. Miz to kind of take control for a second, and then John Morrison do something weird to kind of cost Miz the match, which did end up happening, but just after 10 minutes of back and forth with two wrestlers that I don't really think anybody gave it. Do you think of the tens of thousands of people that are in there, did anybody walk into that building going, God, I hope I see Xavier Woods tonight?
I'm sure there's that one mark that Willie was.
Little kids probably.
He's like, yeah.
Probably not actually, because they're like, oh, it's Xavier Woods, not Kofi.
Not Kofi, not Biggie. Yeah. Talking about what happened after the match. Big surprise. The turn happened.
But to contextualize what prompted the turn, though, is Xavier Woods and Miz were locked up, and Xavier Woods was technically in between where Morrison and Miz are, and Morrison had the drip stick and he was going to spray him. He sprayed both guys ducked, which I thought was weird. I thought for sure it was going to be Xavier Woods ducks and then Miz gets hit. But no, they both ducked, and then Woods rolled Miz up or something, and so technically Morrison cost Miz the match, which led to this.
And here's the face that says it all. Look at that face on Morrison. Look at that. I commend him. That was actually a pretty good heel turn. I think I talked to you guys both.
Oh, is that your opinion? Because I was gonna.
Let me. I was gonna say.
No, I'm just surprised.
That wasn't my initial reaction, but I slept on it. I'm glad I get to sleep on it. I was like, okay, the turn itself I didn't see coming. I was like Morrison to turn on Miz instead. But the reason I say that is because it would have been a nice counterplay 2009 at the draft. Because I don't have the picture. Miz actually did turn on Morrison. And I thought it would be a cool counterplay. Morrison's like being so manipulative, because apparently Miz is being manipulative. Johnny Drip Drip, he's just trying to have some fun. And Morrison's like, oh, I lost one match against Xavier Woods. My world is ruined. I have to take you out. Good acting from Miz, because that man looked intense. And Morrison look at that face of that man. He's out of it. He's out of it. So Cody said it was a bit early, but in the WWE standards, they don't do long term
booking.
They don't do it, and they're like, well, let's just do this for them. And I'm excited to see a face Morrison, but then again, I saw back in 2009, and was it really great?
He's undoubtedly better as a heel, I think. And since I agree with Dom, I'll go next so we can end with the differing opinion. I agree with Dom. I think John Morrison. I don't necessarily think that he should have been the one to turn, but I think based on the way that they were planting the seeds, it definitely seemed like Morrison was going to be the one to turn, because it was the tension was centering around John Morrison. Was like, wait, you weren't injured, and you were making me push you to the ring in this wheelchair, and I was having to do everything while you're like sitting on ass doing nothing. They were definitely planting the seeds as if Morrison was going to be the one to turn. So just based on that alone, I think Morrison should have been the one to turn. But then again, Miz being the one that's going to stay heel, it does make sense that he's the one that breaks it up, because this was a pretty these two guys were a pretty popular act. You do want the fans to be more mad at Miz at the start. When the turn happens, you want people more mad at Miz than you necessarily want them in Johnny's corner, because you're going to slowly, as the feud goes on, you're going to slowly get in Johnny's corner. Why do I keep calling him Johnny?
Johnny Drip Drip!
Killing me. It's killing me right now. But as the feud goes on, because he's the babyface, you're inherently going to be pushed further and further into his corner. So it is a fairly effective short-term booking move to have Miz be the one that turns. I just thought it was an odd decision based on what they'd been doing.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
So first off, I was like, I don't know what. I was kind of shocked when Dom said that he wasn't expecting it, because I feel like this is the most obvious thing in the world. They've been teasing it for weeks. I do agree that it's been more teased that John's going to do it, but that's what they do though, because it was teased for the Shield that Dean Ambrose was going to be the one. to break up, and it ended up being Seth Rollins. They like to swerve people, but I just thought it was very. I don't think it was a bad turn. I think it was sloppy. I think Miz was very sloppy when he was like, Morrison was on the ground and Miz was like just flailing punches, like not even hitting the.
It was intense. Look at the intensity.
He's talking about the punches, though. He's talking about the punches.
Yeah, I'm talking about the punches. It felt like
real. It felt real.
I don't think so. I really like in the heel turns. Like I was like, oh, this is just kind of lame.
Oh.
And like.
Also, I obviously we all knew it was happening, but I was a little surprised it happened this week.
That's what I was saying.
I would have thought it would have been much better if like somehow Miz ends up in the chamber and John Morrison ends up in the chamber, and somehow the Miz is holding up for the skull crushing finale and waiting for John Morrison to kick him or something, and the guy moves out of the way and John kicks Miz and he gets pinned. I feel that would have been a cooler way to do the turn than have them just break up on a Raw and probably wrestle at Extreme Rules, because I feel like this match could have been a Mania-esque match with how much history they have with each other.
But they don't.
You put Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre on the SummerSlam, and Miz and Morrison can't even get on to a main pay-per-view.
Drew McIntyre is not John Morrison is not Drew McIntyre. I'm sorry to say. That's just how it is.
Yeah, because I actually like to watch John Morrison.
Your opinion, I like them to take sides. Next, we had Mansoor.
Oh, not yet.
Oh,
no, not even close to yet. Yeah. So, actually, by this point after this match, so we had reached the 90-minute mark. We're exactly halfway through Raw, and we've had of this wrestling show. There's been 22 and a half minutes of wrestling, not including beatdowns, just. From bell to bell, we've had 22 and a half minutes through 90 minutes of the show. And that's an experiment I've been doing. I want to see how much bell-to-bell action both shows give us, knowing full well what the answer is going to be. We're going to need a lot more from AEW. But I think that's they wonder why people knock Raw all the time. It's because, that leaves us 66 and a half minutes of nonsense. Commercials and nonsense. I'm not watching Raw for not for the crappy promos and the shitty backstage segments. I want to watch some flipping wrestling. Like, I'm not saying fill it all with wrestling, but put more wrestling in there. That's why I'm watching. But backstage segment.
This time I did. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So we had a backstage segment, which is of course why WWE thinks we're all watching for these thrilling backstage segments where Nikki ASH is talking to Rhea Ripley about tagging with her again, even though against Nia Jax, even though we just got this match last week, except this time instead of with Charlotte, it was with Shayna. So it's like, okay, so yeah, more rematches from last week's Raw that everyone's just dying to see. We all want a lot more Nikki ASH. We all want a lot more Nia Jax. That's what we're all want. I'm glad WWE is giving us exactly what we want here. So that was that segment. It lasted about 2 minutes, and I didn't.
There you go. I finally have it.
Yeah. Okay. Is there really anything else to say about the segment?
I didn't even know what a segment was. So
I have a confession. I hate Nia Jax, so anytime she's on the TV, I walk out of the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think she's the most untalented person on the entire roster.
Oh, she's definitely one of those people. It's like you have a job because you're related.
Your family. Yeah.
It's a good argument. Afterwards.
Moving right along, we had one of the greatest things ever to happen to wrestling. We had a 24/7 title segment with someone I like. One of my favorite parts of Monday Night Raw is
Reggie.
watching Reggie just bounce around the world.
Dude, I love it.
He's like, what was it? It was like an ice cream truck. He's like getting ice cream, and there's like a bush walking behind him, which was going to be R-Truth. But then what got me a little bit was now Tozawa was also in a trash can, and they're like, oh, it's time to I'm here to get the 24/7 title, and then Reggie jumps up into a tree, and then he like jumps down, and pops back up on top of the truck, and it's just. It was cool. It's fine.
My favorite line of the night was Tarzan has nothing on you from R-Truth.
Yeah, so yeah, my note for the segment, 24/7 title segment, Reggie is awesome. That's all I wrote.
We need the 24/7. I need the 24/7 segment each Raw, because if not, then I would be very, very worried of my mental health on watching Raw weekly. because it's the life I need.
They need to put more segments like that and put less of the stupid crap.
Yep. Talking about stupid crap.
Well, yeah. So, we had a really quick segment before the next match, which was Riddle and Randy talking about how fun they're about to have at their championship celebration. And Randy says probably the funniest thing ever. He said he asked Riddle not to do something stupid, and asking Matt Riddle not to do something stupid is like asking a dog not to sniff its own ass. It's just not going to happen. I
will say I'm starting to like Riddle more. Not because
I came out of the show hating him so much more.
No. I think he needs somebody to play off him, like Randy. I don't think he would be like entertaining for me by himself, but I need somebody like Randy to play off him. So I did enjoy that segment.
I can't wait to talk about their later segments since you're saying you pick it now.
Talking about what's next? Because I have
next is the Mansoor versus Jinder Mahal match.
Oh, okay.
And my first note, and this was something I found very funny. I don't know if you guys didn't. That is not how you spelled Mansoor. I'm almost positive.
Mansoor.
I'm pretty sure there's an A in there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Mansoor. I think it's MANSOOR. But anyway, so if you guys didn't catch this live, I highly recommend going back. When Mansoor makes his entrance, there is a really obvious, really hilarious canned pop because the crowd was dead. And there's just this hilarious fake pop that they piped in for television. I highly recommend going back and listening to it because it was really funny. But anyway, yeah.
This crowd was not good. This crowd was not good.
Yeah, so this match was they started. I thought they started in the MVP and Damian Priest segment. I thought they were good. They seemed pretty alive. But yeah, this match. There was only 1 point for this match, I thought, and that was which I think they kind of found their way back to, and it was the whole Mustafa Ali, which I'm not even being sarcastic. Never a bad time to put him on television. I love him.
Yep, I agree.
But it was all about their whole thing with Mansoor's getting mad that Ali's kind of giving him dirty wins. He's like, I want to do this my way. That was clearly what this match was always going to be about. And as I'm finishing, because then my note says this is clearly all about Ali and Mansoor. As I'm finishing writing that, that's when Jinder gets DQ'd. Jinder goes in the corner and starts stomping him and breaks the 5 count. Like you have to be a complete idiot to do that because it's so obvious. And he gets DQ'd for it. And like, okay, so is this about Jinder being a bigger heel than we thought he was? Like, is he losing his mind? Is that what we're trying to follow? And then Ali comes in, and for some reason thinks it's appropriate to say, like, something, this isn't verbatim, but something to the effect of, that's what happens when you try it your way. Ooh. What?
You can't.
So you're telling me that if Mansoor doesn't cheat, he's going to win every match by DQ. I'll take it. I'll never lose a match again. But you're saying something about the way Mansoor carries himself and wrestles makes people just want to beat the shit out of him for a DQ. The line made no sense. That it made zero sense. Just like this whole segment, just like this whole match, just like the ending of this match, none of it made sense.
I missed it. So.
Oh yeah. So I have nothing to say about this match. I just want to give a fun fact because I learned this the other day. The Money in the Bank match that Brock Lesnar won, the Money in the Bank briefcase. Mustafa Ali was going to win that match, and
he needs to stop.
Vince McMahon told him right before he made his entrance that Brock Lesnar was winning it.
You stop right now. I will not take this.
I read that this weekend. He said right before Ali's music hit, that Vince informed him that Brock would be winning instead.
Oh man! So many things here just frustrate me with that.
I love Mansoor and Ali, but I'm afraid.
I do like the dynamic. I just think they need to be in bigger matches than Jinder Mahal.
Yes, thank you. They need to have them against Riddle and Orton next. Why not?
They're not ready for that.
They don't really have like I don't know if tag team is really what like their dynamic. I don't know if a tag team match. I think it keeps needing to be singles matches where if Ali's having a singles match, he wins dirty, and if or like Mansoor does nothing to help him win dirty, and then if it's a Mansoor match, he's helping win dirty, and it's either going to be. I think what it might wind up being is Mansoor is going to end up turning heel and being like, "Oh, your way really is the way." All right, because where else is it? Or I could be wrong. It might just lead to a standard pay-per-view match between the two where Mansoor wins and we never see those two together.
I don't want to turn heel. I think he's a good.
All right, go to the next thing. We're taking way too long.
All right, go ahead.
So quickly, I made a note because right after this match, we got the quick backstage segment between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, where they talked about going like they just went out to go drinking. And I said this during our SummerSlam predictions. The pandering cookie cutter babyface. Well, guess what Damian Priest said during this segment?
Bullies.
He said. No, he didn't. Yeah, did he talk about bullies?
Probably.
He might have talked about bullies, but he definitely did say like I've been dreaming of this for so long.
Yes,
I feel like I'm finally living the dream. Like I swear every babyface United States champion in the past 3 years has cut this exact same promo, and I'm so sick of it. I instantly was like I love Damian Priest. I really don't want to see him especially if it's me with Drew McIntyre. Based on that principle alone, don't want to see him. But if he's going to be cutting these types of pandering promos like everyone else does, then I really don't want to see him. Because I'm sick of seeing this exact same promo, this exact same mid-card champion that no one ever cares about. It's going to cool him off. Like I'm predicting now, he's going to have a really underwhelming title reign, and they're going to completely cool off any momentum he ever has. He's going to lose it and be done. Like he's not going to be a big part of main roster.
That's a solid prediction, to be honest.
I even wrote eye roll emoji. Oh, hey, Damian Priest has always dreamed of this. What do you know? Hashtag eye roll emoji.
I'm ready to talk about this next segment. I've been waiting for like the last 10 minutes. Please get to it.
Okay, so Charlotte Flair comes out, and I love Charlotte, and she cuts I thought a really great promo. Definitely the best promo on this show. I think Charlotte she talks herself up like no other. Like everything she said was great. I mean, I can't say enough good things about her promo. It was just a really, really good promo. And, a lot of times these kinds of segments, they end with some sort of babyface confrontation. And Charlotte is getting ready to make her way out of the ring with nothing happening, no one interfering. And I'm like, this is perfect. Charlotte comes in, talks up a storm, gets herself over as a heel. The people boo her, and that's going to be it. And then Alexa Bliss comes out. Yes.
Yeah, it's what it says right there. It comes out to say.
And she says one word. She walks out with her stupid music and her stupid look and her stupid everything and her stupid doll. And she goes, "Hi."
Amazing, isn't it?
And that was the end of the segment. And here's my notes for the entire segment from start to finish. Time for Charlotte, thank God. Oh, here's something. So she said at the very beginning of the promo, she said, like, was there ever a doubt in anyone's mind that I was gonna regain the title? And I said, Dom definitely had doubt because
I did.
Yeah. So my second note up from the segment is Dom definitely had doubt. And then Charlotte's awesome, great promo. She can talk herself up like no other. Literally, don't ever stop talking. Oh fuck, not Alexa Bliss. Then that's it. Literally,
honestly, that was my same. I thought the promo was great. The only thing I didn't like about the promo is that he played her music.
That's right. They played it at a really weird time. I remember that.
They played it and then stopped it, and she started talking again.
Yeah, so I remember that actually. That was really weird.
I'm like, what's going on? And then Alexa, I'm like, oh god, this. And then
you know what I bet it was. But actually, I almost want to say that whoever was cueing the music, that's probably where they meant to play Alexa's music. But they accidentally cued Charlotte's. Then Charlotte had to vamp for a little bit.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, yeah, it was a good promo. Then it got ruined by what basically is revealing her next opponent.
And here's the thing: if that's her next opponent, do we think besides the fact that Charlotte's clearly just way better, do we think Alexa's really going to lose? Because because this gimmick is clearly something WWE is really committed to. Do we really I don't think Alexa Bliss has lost a match, not including the Money in the Bank match, obviously, but hasn't lost a match, I don't think, since she got this gimmick. I don't know if she'd lose.
There's two things that I can see. I can see Alexa winning just because she doesn't lose usually.
Yeah.
And I can see her winning so Charlotte regains the title again and gets one step closer to breaking her dad's record.
But I mean, see, they normally do that with Charlotte, but where she loses the title and gets it back really quick, but they don't usually do it 2 times in a row. And she just did it.
Sasha,
yeah, but that was years ago. That was years ago though. They haven't done it with her that much lately, where where she'll win it, lose it, win it, and then she'll lose it and be done with it for a while. But she doesn't. This would be win it, lose it, win it, lose. I don't know if they would do that. Honestly, if this is going to be the match, I think it would probably have to end in some sort of DQ to keep the if they wanted to keep the title on Charlotte. Because I just don't. With how committed WWE has been with this gimmick, I don't know that Alexa would lose.
I have a bold prediction, of course. Alexa's gonna win, and she's gonna get a custom title like the Fiend did.
I could see it.
So it's not that bold, okay?
No, it's actually a good. That's a good prediction. I think that would probably happen.
Thank you. I needed to hear that tonight.
I just have one thing before the segment's over. Take Shayna out of the tag division, put her in the title.
Talking about Shayna.
Thank you.
Let's move on. Is that the next match?
That is the next match. The next thing that happens is Rhea Ripley and Nikki, almost a superhero, versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. My first note: Shayna is way too good to be in. It's way too good to be involved in this.
Yeah.
This was it was, I guess, it was a fine match. Like, there wasn't anything egregiously wrong with it. It was so expected. We knew what team was going to win. We pretty much knew how they were going to do it. I just had a lot of problems with, like, so there's no real reason for Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley to still be tagging together after SummerSlam unless they're the next odd couple tag team that's going to win the titles.
Nope.
So that's hopefully not going to happen because I would love Rhea Ripley as a single. And Nikki ASH doesn't need any titles ever again for the rest of her life.
Yep.
But it was like they're less than 3 minutes into the match, they go to the first break, and it made like the show was just so poorly formatted. Like, it's already a match that we don't care about. Why are you making it go? Why are you making it go over a break so we just have to watch it longer? And yeah, I was looking at my notes. The only real reason that I had any interest in this match was there was going to be interplay between Shayna and Rhea Ripley, which I was really excited for, and their interplay was good. It just proved why neither of them should be involved with the other two people. It's like those two just need to be singles, especially Shayna. They've done such a disservice to Shayna since they called her up. It's embarrassing. She's so good.
I have a Dom Bull prediction. This is what's gonna happen. Nikki ASH and Rhea are gonna tag for a little while. Even though we don't want it, they're gonna do it. They're gonna fight for the tag team championships, and Rhea's gonna turn heel on Nikki.
I wouldn't mind. Wouldn't mind at all.
That's fine with me. Cool.
And another note that I made is Nia Jax's new gimmick just female Rikishi, because she was all about shaking her ass and shoving it in people's faces.
My house.
I mean, she doesn't have to move that much, so that's probably why.
And then, so obviously, the finish. I wrote after the finish, the team we all knew would win one, but they made sure to make Nia and Shayna look nice and stupid before they did it, because I don't remember what the exact finish was, but it was something to the effect where Nia Jax somehow wound up doing a splash and she landed on Shayna and then got dumped out of the ring somehow, and Shayna got pinned. And just, why?
Yeah, I had no interest in this match.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even remember any of it. I just remember telling myself, like, Shayna Baszler was the one who destroyed the Elimination Chamber, like, what, 2000, right before the pandemic. And now look at her right when the fans are back. Like, what a fucking transition in the pandemic she had. That was, honestly, I would argue she had the worst pandemic in wrestling. Is that a good argument, or like?
I mean, I'm sure somebody else that got unemployed.
I mean, okay. In terms of good point. In terms of character,
I don't know, if you can necessarily. You can't necessarily say that the reason that
I'm not saying. I'm just saying through the Look at the start of the pandemic.
Okay. So you're talking about the pandemic, just era of wrestling.
Yes. No, I'm not talking about the pandemic is the reason Shayna's ruined. I'm saying the beginning of the pandemic. I think this was maybe.
You're frozen again.
Before it was an Elimination Chamber where Shayna literally squashed everyone. We come back.
Was that before the pandemic though? Was that way before? I feel like her and.
No. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Mr. Fact Check, Mr. Eric is gonna tell me I'm right.
Well, she won. She won the year. I don't think she won. Are you saying she won last year's Chamber?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
2020 Chamber. Yes.
The year she won the Chamber, I believe, was the year she faced Becky for the title at Mania.
Yes, and that was 2020.
Was that last year? Was that last year?
Yes, it was.
Huh.
You guys are you guys.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong either. I just don't remember that. I thought that was 2 years ago. I thought that was.
I have bold predictions and a great memory. It's just how it works.
I'll take your word.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a really funny note, and I think this proves that the people that write WWE aren't they call them creative, but they're not creative at all. They're trying to write a comedy show, but they're not funny at all. So this is a title celebration, by the way. This is a title celebration for the new Raw Tag Team Champions, RK Bro. They're really not creative enough back there to call it a celebration. How fucking... I thought of that. Guess how long that took me to come up with?
2 seconds. But to be fair, I didn't think of it, but I
didn't think of it either. That was pretty good.
Come on. If you're gonna do shit, go all the way with it.
No, that is good, though.
That's good. I'll give you that thing.
And then my next note, I hope I never have to hear Matt Riddle talk ever again. Dom, I cannot. I am so disappointed that you said after this show you like Matt Riddle more than you did.
I like him with Randy because I feel like he compliments him. I like the he has good one-liners. He has good one-liners.
This was painful.
Good
and again, so Matt Riddle comes out first, and he's got Randy said don't do anything stupid, so naturally he has balloons on all 4 posts, and he's got his scooter and all that stupid shit. And Randy comes. Oh, sorry, there's lightning in Chicago. But Randy comes and he just stops. And Randy's entrance was great, just looking like what the fuck am I even doing here? And so I have another note where I once again said I love Corey Graves, and I remember exactly why, because he just buries Byron Saxton nonstop, and I love it. So Corey Graves, he said something like he's got Randy Orton's coming out here looking at balloons, and Byron Saxton was like, everyone loves balloons. Then Corey Graves, I think this is one of the lines of the night. He's like, yeah, everyone loves balloons, and then they turn 6, Byron. Oh God, I love Corey Graves. I love Corey Graves.
That's good stuff.
So let's see how Randy gets in after Matt Riddle cuts a god awful promo, and I really made a big revelation about Matt Riddle's character. But first, I'm really glad Randy is not indulging in any of this crap. I'm glad he's not grabbing the balloons, and I'm glad he's not even really looking at Matt Riddle. He's just he's almost healing. He's just pissed off. He's not what the fuck am I doing here? And then Matt Riddle cut. I had the revelation when he starts telling Randy how to open and close a scooter. His character is not a stoner. His character is a 5-year-old boy. He doesn't talk like a stoner. I know plenty of stoners. I've been around tons of people that have smoked a bunch of weed. They don't talk like this, but I've also been around a lot of 5-year-olds that talk exactly like he does. His character does not talk like he's high. He talks like a 5-year-old. I hated everything about this.
It's a scooter.
I really I hated. I cannot say how I hated everything about this. I want Matt Riddle released. I really do. I don't want to see this guy. I don't want to see this guy ever again. I'm perfectly fine with his match. Okay, I'm perfectly fine with his matches. He's fine in the ring, and we'll get to that. But I hope that I don't know who gave him a mic, but they ought to be ashamed of themselves. He should never talk again. That was awful. That was just awful.
Okay, so I'm the resident at WrestlePoint. I am the resident Riddle fan here. Yeah. I think he's great. I did not like the segment on Monday.
Okay.
I did not think it was good. I thought it was very when you tease something on a SummerSlam that said, I got a surprise for you, you're thinking it's much cooler than a goddamn scooter. I mean, you could have thought of anything. Anything at all. I just I didn't enjoy the segment. I didn't think it was good. I didn't think any segment was really good on the show, to be honest.
There was one really good one that got ruined by Alexa Bliss.
I think Riddle I think Riddle is a much better wrestler than you guys give him credit for.
No, I think he's a good. No, I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna get into it with the match, but I actually think in the ring, I think he's actually like. I don't even think he's just good. I think he's like pretty damn good. But good, yeah. I don't want him to ever talk again. I can't listen to him.
I do really think he's a top 5 wrestler on Raw.
I'm not going to. I won't necessarily agree, but I won't necessarily disagree. That's one of those things that I have to think about. But I wouldn't discount it because I'm not going to jump ahead too much. But I will say I really liked what he did in the closing match. I did really like what he was doing.
I was gonna.
All right, Dom, do you have anything on?
I was gonna ask a question, like pathetic. It was an actual question. So with Riddle, and we talked about Ricochet having bad mic skills. I think because they're prominent indie wrestlers, that they would lack the mic skills in terms against somebody like who is like grown from WWE.
Now I wouldn't even consider Riddle an indie.
But he came from the indie.
But he wasn't on indies for very long.
Yeah, he was in the UFC. That's where everybody knows him from.
I'm gonna look it up. I remember him in a couple bowlers.
But I do get what you're saying. I don't think Riddle's bad on the mic. I just think his character annoys people.
Are you gonna say he's good on the mic then?
I don't think he's bad on the mic at all, actually.
I mean, he's for what they want his gimmick to be. I suppose that like for how they want him to sound, I'm sure he's fine. If they said Riddle go out there and sound like a complete bumbling idiot, he did a really good job. But he at least like his delivery is fine for what his gimmick is. I suppose. I'm not going to say anything about him if I think he's necessarily good or bad on the mic until I hear him cut like a serious promo.
Yeah. I have to say all I have to say. He debuted on February 7th. 2015, by the way.
In wrestling?
In pro wrestling, yes.
I'm not sure that's accurate.
How is it not accurate? I just looked it up on Google.
Because he was in the UFC like in 2018.
I said pro wrestling.
Yeah, but you just said 2018. He wasn't getting any WWE deal in 2015. I mean, before he came to UFC. That's how.
Middle?
Yeah.
I'm saying he wasn't. That's why I'm saying he was an indie guy, and then he came to NXT.
Let's just get to the main event.
I'm gonna. Okay, the main event was Riddle against AJ.
AJ Styles. Eric, you can go with this match.
Yeah. So before we get into the match, just quickly, the way the match came about, as any WWE fan will expect. They're cutting the promo. They're doing the celebration. AJ and Amos interrupt, and they say a bunch of crap, and it leads to a match. And so Riddle versus AJ Styles. This obviously it was the match of the night. It was a good match. I can say all I want about how much I hate Riddle as a character, but at the end of the day, and I even wrote it. I said if he just didn't talk and just wrestled, I'd probably love him because I love his style. He's a striker, and I naturally like strikers, but he's also a really good striker. Like he does really good work. He's pretty clean. It's at a certain point in the match he countered the Styles Clash with I believe a triangle. Yeah, it was with a triangle, and that was really cool. And what else? I wrote a couple of things that he did. Yeah, and then he countered the calf killer into his rear naked choke. It was really nice. It's like if his gimmick wasn't so insufferable, I would love this guy because he does a good job in the ring. Like I mean, it's AJ Styles. AJ Styles can get a good match out of anybody, but
yeah,
but at the same time, you can tell when AJ's having to carry a guy to a good match. He didn't have to carry Riddle. Riddle more than held his own in this match. Just really, really clean work by both guys. I loved the back and forth. I didn't like. Oh, my heart broke when Randy actually picked up the damn scooter and hit him. Oh, God, I couldn't believe it. I wrote in my notes, damn it, Randy, put the goddamn scooter down. But
have you ever been hit by a scooter? It hurts.
Probably hurts a lot. But, yeah, so they have this really good back and forth. They had Matt Riddle. He actually won. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. I definitely haven't seen this in a long time. I forget what move he got hit with, but AJ goes for a pin, and he doesn't do a kick out that we're used to seeing, where where he flails the arms, or where he has to kind of like lean back, and then he literally his arms were down to his side, and he bridged to get his shoulders out, and it really like I don't think I've ever seen that before, and I think that was a really, really good. It's a weird thing to say, a really good kick out, but I think it really put over that like he legit, you could believe that he might have actually lost there, and that it really did look like a last gasp effort to kick out. I thought it was really, really nice. And then Randy, Omos is gearing up to interfere. Randy gets the scooter, hits Omos with it a couple times, and Riddle wins off the distraction. I just again, breaks my heart that Randy's going to indulge in any way with the nonsense, but you know what? So really solid main event match. I guess the right guy won. I think my only thing is I think beating AJ is kind of weird, because we know, or at least we're pretty sure that they're not done, and they're going to get their rematch. And if AJ is going to lose the first match, where do we go from here?
Well,
how can they justify getting the title shot if AJ just lost?
I'm pretty sure AJ defeated Riddle before, didn't he?
He did. I believe
that was before they lost the title.
And then maybe now I'm just explaining to I'm trying to convince myself that AJ have a chance of retaining the title, which I'm pretty sure
they'll find a way. They'll find a way for them to get the rematch and have it make sense. I just think it would be easier. I think it pushes the rematch a little bit more when AJ says, "I beat you once. I already beat you once." Then he beats him again. Then he's like, "Now I've beaten you twice. Like you don't deserve those titles. Let's do this again." I think that's just a more. I think that's just a more real, not even realistic. I think that's just a more effective way to do it. I think unless this is all leading to some sort of like a Moss face turn or heel turn to split them up, but I don't think that's necessarily the move, especially not now.
There is a question that said, "Do you see an AJ and Omos split?" I don't right now, just because there's not a lot of tag teams that are on the brand.
And that's kind of. Go ahead.
I was gonna say eventually, but like, what are they gonna actually fight over? Like,
pride. Like anyone.
If you wanted to make a split happen, to the tease that after like the week before they lost and actually losing, and then you could go into that. But I don't think Omos is ready for a singles run.
Yeah. And the way with these types of pairings, this definitely, if there's going to be a split, because obviously a split up is going to lead to a singles feud between the two. That's usually something WWE likes to do around Mania season. Like I think Omos versus AJ Styles would be something they might want to save for WrestleMania if they really are confident that Omos can come out of it and be in line for a big singles push if he's ready for that. So that's a very specific scenario, obviously. But it's not like there's nothing fueling the split right now. All they did was lose the titles. Like I can't recall any time where AJ's like yelled at Omos, belittled him. I don't recall anything like that, and that's usually with these pairings. I almost want to say, if and when they do split, I almost want to say Omos might come out the babyface, just based on because of the dynamic. Because the dynamic, it was the same with Kevin Nash. When Kevin Nash turned,
I remember that, man.
Kevin Nash turned babyface. Like the giant might goes babyface in time, and based on this dynamic, the dynamic they have, AJ's the clear heel.
I can see that, but I don't think it would be smart. I think it would be smart if he almost got the heat, just because there's a lot more people to deal with as a heel rather than.
Definitely, with their current dynamic, AJ is the clear heel, and Omos is just the muscle that's doing what AJ says. That's why I feel like
I really want AJ out of this tag team. He's just so good that I'm obviously not a Drew McIntyre fan right now, but I'd rather see AJ versus Drew McIntyre at Extreme Rules than like a lot of matches that are going to happen at Extreme Rules. Like,
I mean, that would be nice of AJ to get a pin on, not to get pinned by McIntyre. AJ to do.
Yeah.
And so we're coming up on 2 hours. Let's not divert too much from because we are almost done. Do you guys have anything to say about the main event of this week's Raw?
I'm ready to watch next Raw, hoping it's gonna be better. But I'm
I do have to say this. There's a lot of new matches advertised for next week's Raw. There's
so what matches are
that we haven't seen before. Yeah, there's 3 or 4 that we haven't seen before.
Okay.
So that either means we're getting on the right path here, or we're just going to see the matches that are advertised next week 4 more times.
Well, speaking of advertising matches, I wish I remembered this at the time. Before the segment where Nikki ASH was talking to Rhea and asking her, because the segment was her asking Rhea if she wants to tag against Nia and Shayna, even though during what was the match before that? Was the match before that segment The Miz and Xavier Woods? I think it was.
Which one? I think Mansoor and
it was. So we had that. So it was the Mansoor Jinder Mahal match. During the Mansoor and Jinder Mahal match, they literally had a graphic advertising that match, and then 20 minutes later had a segment where she was asking her to tag for a match that's already been confirmed where they're tagging together. Again, just going back to how poorly formatted the show is.
Oh yes.
Yes, I mean, yeah. If you guys don't have anything to add about the main event, I'll tell you guys. I've told you guys already, but 3 hours of Raw, when we got 41 minutes and 40 seconds of wrestling. So on this 3-hour wrestling show, less than a quarter of the show is spent with wrestling, and it's
great stuff.
You don't realize how long. You really don't realize how long 3 hours is until you try to sit through Raw. This was in the moment watching the AJ Styles Matt Riddle match, I couldn't fully enjoy it because I've been sitting through so much crap for so long.
But on the other hand, Raw is like the B show, obviously.
Yeah.
I not to jump ahead, but I am very excited for SmackDown this week.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that are going to be happening.
I'm really disappointed because I'm in Chicago until Sunday, so I'm not going to be able to watch SmackDown. I can't watch Rampage. This might end up being my only appearance on the show this week. And I'm really bummed because I'm really excited for Rampage and for SmackDown, but I'm probably not going to be able to watch them until I get home, which will be well after we record the reviews.
Yeah. I think Brock Lesnar would be there. Becky Lynch. I guess rumors have it Becky Lynch is going to be a heel now.
Yep.
Which I guess maybe that's why they squashed, or I don't know.
Lot to say about it, but I want to reserve it until Friday since that's a Friday.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen it. It's not happening yet, but I think we're good. If no one else has anything to say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just I'm so excited. I'm obviously really happy that we're in the podcast world now. If it's something, but then you quickly realize, God damn it means I got to watch Raw every week. Because you can get away. I've been getting away for a long time watching just the parts of Raw that I want to watch, which is Bobby Lashley, Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, and that's really it for the most part. Depending on the time of year, the tag team division's watchable, but you can get away with watching a cumulative 20 minutes of Raw, but not when you're in this business. You got to watch all 3 hours. You got to watch the good. You got to watch the bad. You got to watch the horrific. And unfortunately, there's at least this week.
A lot of.
I'm not going to. Hopefully, I'm not manifesting anything bad here. But yeah, this week at least, there was a lot of bad. But they're capable of putting on good shows. They do it once a week. They put on a good show. It just happens to be SmackDown. So I always come into Raw with hope that it's going to be good. But then it's tough. It's tough after so long.
It's tough. Well, I want to leave it out with a beautiful picture. The beautiful image that we got gifted from WWE.